Hey guys, so I brought you back to this lawn where we levelled up the lawn. We dealt with some humps and bumps and dips, and we did a full renovation. This was about 6 or 8 weeks ago now. I'm going to take you around, give you an update. Everybody's been asking about an update, so here we are. So we're going to start off by saying customer is really happy with how it looks. So we've got green. That's a good start straight away. That's what we want, a nice green colour. But it's very sandy soil, so we have to bear that in mind. Now, there are a couple of thin parts here because it rained really heavily, about 5 times, the customer said, after we'd been and done the work. So there's that little patch there. We're going to fix that today in this video. And there's just a couple of spots here. But in general, it's looking all right. So I will take you around. You can see the side lawn and the rear lawn and see what they look like now. And there's just another little area here where it's gone a little bit thin. Now, because we've had so much rain this year, it has affected a lot of lawns. Normally I never bother with fleecing, and normally 95% of the lawns come through absolutely fine, but this year's been excessively wet. We've had so much rain for month after month after month, and a few lawns now have suffered a little bit. There's actually, I think this is the 3rd lawn out of all the ones we've done this year. It's about 30 or 40. I think this is the 3rd lawn where this has happened, so it has been a bit of hit and miss, a bit of pot luck. If I know there's going to be some heavy rain in the future on a lawn, I'm going to be doing some fleecing, but for now nothing's going to change in how I approach dealing with renovations on a lawn. So we've got a little bit of thin in here. So basically the heavy rain's come down, really heavy rain, fast, and as it's come down it's caused a splash which has moved some of the seeds. If you get a lot of rain, then it becomes like a puddle and they kind of float up a little bit and they move, and because of that movement we end up with a gap and it looks thin and the seeds tend to go to the sides. So as we go around now, I think we use something like 20 bags of topsoil to do some levelling up. Now the side lawn's looking good. It's just a bit dry in places, but that we expect that at this time of the year, especially on sandy soil. And there is the odd 1 or 2 little spaces, but most of these will fill in and thicken up as regular mowing commences and watering. And that is going to be the key, especially on sandy soils. So this is the back. First glance, it looks fine. It's nice. It's green. And that is what we want. And the customer's words were, I'm over the moon. I'm really happy with this. And I count that as a win. But I'm not happy until it's perfect. Let me show you what I've spotted. There's a couple of things. She's had a mole visit. And what she's done, she put the hose pipe down the hole. And there's been no more mole activity coming back through. So I'm going to be taking this soil off of the grass. And if it's dead underneath, we'll put a bit more seed on there. But in general, everything's fine. Everything is fine. This area was particularly sloping down. Now, I don't know if you can remember from the previous video. I will link to that video down below in the description. So if you want to watch the original video, you can. But over here, it was sloping down quite a bit. And we must have put 10, 12, 13 bags of topsoil in there to try and flatten it out a little bit. But all that grass has come through just fine. There's the odd little thin area, but in general, that's good. So we'll come over to this end. All good here. And there's just a tiny little bit here. And she's had a dog visit, which unfortunately has burnt the lawn in a few places. So what I'm going to be doing is literally just getting some seed and just scattering it over the thin areas. And then I'm going to get a bag of compost and just get a handful and scatter it over the top. And then I'm going to use the back of a brush or a rake just to work it in, so it's not sat on top of the grass in a big clump. We want it to work in and down, in between the blades of grass, so that it's nestled down at ground level. There's your ground. Seed on top, and then a thin layer of compost or topsoil. That is what we're aiming for. We don't want the compost higher up, okay? Because it's going to smother the grass. We want it down at the bottom. That's why we use a brush or a rake or a garden lute or anything like that, just to work it in. You push it backwards and forwards. So let's get cracking. I'll go and get the seed and we'll make a start. Right, you don't need any fancy gadgets, but if you want to, Now, spreading seed, if you're doing a big area, you want some sort of spreader, whether it's a drop spreader or a hand spreader or any sort of spreader. Now, I've got the normal green hand spreader, which I'm always talking about, but the little spindle inside, which is orange, doesn't have any sort of legs on it, and because of that, it's not always very good with seeds coming through. It's great with fertiliser because there's a bit of weight, but with regards to seed, you need some decent long legs on that little spindle, which is that. So when you turn that, that spins. Now, I bought this spreader last week. It's called a swirl or something. Anyway, I'll mention it. I'll put a link to it in the description, but I thought this would be okay as a replacement one. It's got this little thing to rest your arm on, but do you know what? I don't like it for fertiliser spreading, but I thought I'll keep it rather than sending it back, and I'll try it with the seeds, because it's got the little black spindle inside, has got the little legs on it, so it should distribute the seeds quite well. So I'm going to give it a go. Now, I have also mentioned that a customer of mine, not a customer, well, someone that watches my YouTube channel, sent me a little gadget which attaches to the orange spindle inside. There's still some tweaks being made to that, so we're not going anywhere with that at the moment, but once that is sort of developed further, then what we can do is I can obviously let you guys know all about it, but for now I think this is going to be quite good, because the legs, like I say, there's some legs on there, and all you do, I'm just going to open it up to maximum to adjust the whole size. Although I don't need it for this lawn because it's just spreading by hand, but I want to show you this if you've got a larger area. So you just take some seeds. I'm on the maximum setting, and then you just squeeze the trigger and turn the handle. And actually that is really good. Actually that is really good. I'm impressed with that. That's coming out really heavy. Wow. I promise, I'm not just saying this. This is the first time I've used this with seed, and I'm actually really impressed with this. So this actually might actually be my go-to seed spreader. That's actually coming out really well. Do this by hand in the corner. But there's, like I say, there's only a few little bits. It was just mainly this. It is a little bit thin over here, so there's no harm in just chucking a bit of seed on. A lot of that's down to the ants, unfortunately. But in general, that's all right. Oh, I'm really impressed with that. Seriously, I'm not just saying that. That is really good. Excellent. Right, let's go and deal with these moles. So I'm just going to scoop the soil up and put it back over there as best I can. And what I can't, I will just work it in. Quite stony as well. But that's fine. I think that's where he came up. Do you know, you cannot beat being outside in nature. You may or may not know, but I spent years and years and years working in factories many moons ago. I've been a driver, driving 7.5 tonners, but I've worked in factories. I actually worked for Toyota, building the cars on a production line, and the lads were brilliant. I love the lads. We always got on really well, but it's I didn't enjoy doing the shifts. Didn't enjoy doing nights at all, and it proper got me down, to be fair. So this is a breath of fresh air. Right, that's brilliant. So this back lawn is now covered with seed in the areas which have gone a bit thin. You don't need to scarify again because it was only done quite recently. So the soil is still there. So we just put the seed on and we cover it over with compost. As long as it's watered well, it will come through a lot faster at this time of the year. We're sort of getting into mid-June now, so this will come through within a week or two. So it's all about being consistent with the watering. But not only that, because we're getting into this hotter weather, you've got to keep up with the watering. Not as much, but 2 or 3 times a week deeply in the morning, because the roots are shallow. Even though it looks nice on top, the roots are shallow. You need to keep giving it what it needs until it becomes well established, which will take a few months. Right, so now we need to get the compost on top. Let's crack on. So I have the compost spreader in the van. Actually, I missed a bit there with the seed. I have the compost spreader in the van in case I needed it, but they're only small pieces. So I'm just going to cover these over by hand. And literally, you just pick some up and you just break it up between your fingers. Like I say, you just rub your fingers like so, so it's falling like snow. That rhymes, doesn't it? I'm a poet, don't you know it? Anyway, so yeah, this is it. This is how you deal with any areas that have been affected by rain, or you fleece it every time. If it's your own lawn, you can get some fleece the right size and you can reuse it every year. But when we're doing 30, 40 lawns, it's a lot of fleece. And to be fair, quite frankly, you know, over the years, it's never been much of a problem. It really hasn't. It's only been this year where it's been so bad. Really. Now, it's actually fallen quite well in between. There's nothing smothering any grasses, but you can go like that if you want. But to be fair, that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to crack on, get the other bits done. And I'll get the side lawn done and the front lawn done. And then I'm going to put her a feed and weed on. She wasn't bothered, but I said I'm going to do it. She's been so nice to me. She's fed me, she's given me drinks, and she's looked after me so much. So it's the least I can do. Time to crack on. So we have covered the seeds with some compost. Now I just want to show you here what I was talking about. You see how the compost is laid on top of the grass? And here, that's smothering the grass. And we don't want that because there'll be grass under there which can't see the sun. So you have to do that. And it goes down to ground level. So it's same again. You can either use your hands, your feet, or the back of a rake or a broom, which I'm going to show you now. So literally, you just go like that. And it's in, it's done. You see it looks quite dark there? Now watch this. It disappears, doesn't it? It disappears down in between the blades of grass. It's still there, but it disappears. Now, if you've got a garden rake, which is the metal fixed ones, I haven't got mine with me, but I've got this landscaper's rake, which is a bigger version of the same thing. use the back straight edge to do the same thing, and it just works it all in. And that's it, and that's literally all there is to do. What we've done, we've just chucked some extra seeds down. The bare soil is still there because it was only done like a couple of months ago. It's not grown thatch or moss over the top. So that's what we've done. So all that's left to do now, I was going to put a feed and weed on for her, but there's seeds in a few places. So I'm just going to put fertiliser on for now. And then we're going to come back at a later point and start the feed and weeds. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some fertiliser on, and then I'm going to go around and have a chat with her. The next step really is watering. And watering is absolutely critical. I can't stress it enough. It's hot now. Going to be a heat wave coming. You've got to keep those seeds damp, which is really watering every single day, 2, 3, 4 times a day for the next month. And then for the rest of summer, you've still got to water 2 or 3 times a week deeply. Usually in the morning is your best chance. So it's not evaporating, things like that. So there you go. Any questions, comments, please leave them down below. Don't forget to smash the like button, and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed what we do here. Yeah, what can I say? It's been a good one to do. A lot of levelling up. I'll leave a link to the original video as well. In fact, I'll put it up on screen now, and I'll also put a video up on screen now about watering and how much you need to water. So please choose from one of these 2 videos now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Keep cracking on.